Hi, everybody who is watching us right now. Hi, everybody who will watch our video later. I am again in interview with my good friend Dan and man coach, and we have a lot of things in common and to discuss. The reason of our interview, of our second interview, is it's what happened on TikTok. I posted part of our previous interview. The title was that 80% men are invisible for women. And suddenly we got 52,000 clicks, a lot of comments. And I took some of the most interesting comments and I would like to discuss it with you.
Да, привет, как дела?
I am fine, thank you. So it's really interesting that all comments are from men. No, a couple comments from women, but most it's triggered men.
It does trigger. It's a pain point for a lot of guys because it's really tough to date out there. I understand a lot of their pain, and I would love to talk about it.
Okay, so I show on the screen the comments, and but don't forget their title was about good guys are invisible for girls, for women. So it was about visible and visible. Okay, first, we are invisible for women. That's fine. They don't deserve us anyway. Like it.
Well, would you like to talk about it first, or would you like me to talk about it first? This is your
Of
show.
course, of course, you, and then I say from woman perspective.
Sure. Okay. Well, look. So here's the deal. I totally respect a man's decision if he doesn't want to date. If he thinks that the juice is not worth the squeeze, I don't know if you've ever heard of that expression here in America. We say the juice is not worth the squeeze. It's not worth the effort to date because these women don't deserve me anyway. If you have that perspective, that's fine. I'm not trying to get people. I'm not trying to force my beliefs on people and try to get them to date. If you don't want to date, fine. But if you do want to date, you can't sit there and complain about it and get upset and like not do anything about it. Listen, I'll agree. There's a lot of women out there that are totally undateable, but there's some women out there that are. You just got to get out there and sift through all the coal to get to the diamond. There are some decent women out there, but yes, it's definitely difficult. You could say the same thing about guys too. A lot of women are not capable of a fun relationship. Unfortunately, I have to say that. And I'm talking specifically in the United States because I don't know how it is outside of it in terms of dating. I have gone outside the country and I've noticed that the quality is significantly better. Or when I have dated women who come from other countries or only here for a small amount of time, definitely you notice a difference. They tend to be more feminine. They tend to actually want to make the guy happy. They go out of their way to put an effort to please a man. I definitely see far less of that with American women. So I will agree with that. But that doesn't mean there aren't American women that are absolutely great. They do exist. You just have to find it.
For me, so we say it's quite similar about the juice. We say the grape is green, so something it's not worth it to take the grape because it's green anywhere. But I think it's very comfortable position because if you say it's not worth it, they don't deserve us. It's really absolutely excuse. Don't do anything. It's the same like sitting on the couch eating sweets and say, I don't have to do any sports. It's useless. Okay, it's your choice, like you said. But if you want to do something, you have shift your ass and do something. Otherwise, you will stay alone, single. I don't know, overweight all your life.
Yeah, I'd also like to add that, maybe you don't deserve them. I ever thought about that too. I say the same thing for women as well. A lot of women will say, I deserve this, I deserve that. And I think a lot of coaches feed women bullshit like, oh, you deserve it, you're a queen girl. You're probably not a queen, or no, you're probably not a king. You need to self-improve. If you don't want to be that 80% of guys who are invisible, this is a competitive market, okay? But guess what? When you're in that top 20%, and it's really not that hard to get up there in some way. I mean, look, I'm a 5'9" guy. I'm overweight. I'm bald, but I do quite well for myself because I have a higher degree of social skill than most guys. I can go into a room and become pretty popular pretty quickly, and that alone can get me options. This isn't about becoming like the very best, like the guy who gets all the women. This is about getting to a threshold where you have options. You don't need to be like Leo DiCaprio where you're dating a woman 21 to 25 years old and a different one every 3 months. I mean, look, if you want to do that, go ahead. Again, if you don't want to date, you do want to date, whatever.
But to be honest, if DiCaprio wouldn't be so rich, it's really the question if he would get such young girls. I think it's a really attraction of money. So it's really difficult to take this famous personality as example. But what it came to my mind, if I say he doesn't deserve me or she doesn't deserve me, it means I am higher than other people. So it means I put myself already in position of somebody who judge other people. She is good for me, she is not good for me. But who is the judge? Where are the laws to decide who is good, who is bad? It's it's kind of game. Okay,
well, the market determines that. The marketplace determines that. So if I want to get a Vogue model, Vogue bikini model, I can't get that. I'm not going to say, oh, she's too good for me. All right. No, I'm going to need to lose some weight. I'm going to need to gain a few $100 million. I'm going to need to do something to get them to start noticing me. But the reason why I bring up Leo DiCaprio is you don't need to be Leo DiCaprio. You just need to excel at a skill, excel at something to be noticed. That's it.
Okay. Similar comment, but a little bit different. The guy wrote, 11 years now, and I am completely transparent for women.
And I would ask this person, what have you done to not be transparent to women? It's a cold world out there. Women don't owe you attention. They don't owe you sex. Nobody owes you anything in the world, doesn't owe you sympathy. And as a man, you can't expect sympathy from the world because the world does not sympathize with men. All right. We're expected to be the strong ones. We're expected to be the ones that build the world and protect and provide and all that. All right. Like, world is very hard on us as guys. It sucks to be transparent. I know what that feels like. I've been there. And that's why I worked my ass off on learning this stuff and getting good at it and creating a career out of it. And because of that, now I have options. You don't need to be king player. You don't need to be the guy who's getting all the women. You just need to have options. That's it. As a guy, you just need to have options. That way you can choose what you want out of your dating life.
Okay, good. The other comment. I've seen tall, better-looking guys with dull personalities constantly get attention, while good old me not.
Okay.
So it means many people. I heard it from the women. It's more about in terms of age. So they prefer younger girls, and I'm alone just because I'm older one. I always say it's bullshit because it's more about how you present yourself. Of course, if you're dressed like grandmother on the market, nobody will want to buy your carrots. But so if you try to be a little bit, the same as with men. Many men really believe that to be popular on the market, on this dating market, you have to be really handsome and tall and rich and all this stuff. What is your opinion about it?
Okay, I'd like to give a practical perspective of this because as a guy who actually does date and competes with good-looking guys, who's gone out winging with good-looking guys, I will say it from this perspective. Good-looking guys absolutely have it easier with women. It doesn't mean guys who are average or below average looking can't do well with women. It's just going to be much harder. The difference between a good-looking guy and a guy who's not good-looking is that when both of these men go and approach or they go to a party, the good-looking guy is going to have far more opportunities, and he's also going to have more chances to screw up. He's going to be able to make a lot more mistakes than just an average or a less average-looking guy. So the average-looking guy or the less average-looking guy is going to need far more game, and he's going to need other things that will allow him to compete with the good-looking guy. So yes, that good-looking guy with a dull personality, he may be able to initially get attention, but it's so easy to screw up. Even good-looking guys still have to struggle to date. So just because the women are giving them attention doesn't mean he is able to convert that into dates, into sex, into relationships, into whatever it is that he's looking for.
And I always add, if we have such conversation with women, I say, so he got his face not as part of his personality. He was lucky with his genes, with his parents. He didn't deserve it. It was something like he worked hard to get. And his beautiful face, his handsome face, it doesn't mean in any situation that he's reliable, trustworthy, honest, I don't know, all these good qualities we expect from our life partners. It's just frame.
Just frame.
Yeah, like frame, because so
Oh,
just
it's how you look.
yeah, it doesn't mean anything. The same, it's if we talk about money. I have a lot of clients who are rich, but most of these rich guys, they're really very greedy. So it
Okay.
means, and women more likely like to choose this rich man with big villa and planes, hoping that part of his money will go to her. But it's not always the case. Or would say not. Oh, it's quite seldom the case. Most of the time, he's rich just because he's very careful with money, and if he's very generous about his own stuff, he doesn't intend to spend this money on her. But women believe that beautiful and rich, it means automatically he's better personality and good for relationship.
Yeah, I think that's called the halo effect, what you're talking about, psychological concept. But yeah, once the woman gets to know the guy, she's going to lose attraction if he doesn't have all the characteristics of an attractive guy. So stop looking at other guys and comparing yourself to them and these good-looking guys who hardly have to do any work. So it seems that they hardly have to do any work. Just because you're not immediately getting attention doesn't mean you can't still go out there. Look, if I was to step outside and I was to go out in the street, I'm going to be invisible unless I make myself visible. I need to walk up and talk to women. I have to use my personality to charm. If I go to an event, no women are going to come up and talk to me. I look like an average guy, and I can do something about that. I could go to the gym. I could get a better style, et cetera, et cetera. But what I get to do is I rely more on my personality, which a lot of the dull, we call it, good-looking guys do. I can make friends, make people, meet people in there. Yes, I have to put in work. God forbid I got to put in work. And I can meet a lot of people and maybe snag a nice girl in there and get a few numbers. But really, once you get good at this stuff, it's not as hard. It's hard at first because you're taking everything seriously and you're comparing yourself to other people. But then when you start to get results from your effort and you start to get good at this stuff, it becomes more natural. It really starts to become a pleasure. It really is genuinely fun to do.
Okay, so a similar comment, and I want to say my opinion first. Nice guys have too much to lose to be the bad guy. So the situation is that you mentioned in the previous situation and previous comment, it's something like there are these bad guys who are very popular and get a lot of attention, a lot of women. They don't appreciate it because they know it will be always the next one until he's handsome. And the good guys who are not visible and less popular, they really clinch on all women they get and hope this will be the right one, because it will take him a lot of effort to get the next one. And so just because it's clinch behavior, it's complicated to get the next one, because you have to be really free in your mind to be attractive. Or what do you think about it?
Ksenia, I think you might be misinterpreting the question, but maybe I am. But because I get this comment a lot from people, from guys, I think what they're actually referring to is that if you're trying to be the bad guy and you're dealing with women, you bear a lot of like legal risks and reputational damage risks, such as like Me Too stuff, false accusations, women making claims about you because they're upset, having regrets about you, and then claiming things that could get you into trouble. And I think I would say that's a legitimate concern. And I would like to retort by saying, I am not teaching men to be bad guys. I'm teaching them to do what works that the bad guys do. If you have a woman that you have to treat like shit in order to get her to like you, you really shouldn't stay with her. That's not worth it. That's where you're going to get in danger zone type of stuff, because you're dealing with psychologically messed up, psychologically dangerous women. Okay. So you need to avoid women like that. That's a screening tool I actually do. I know whether or not I want to keep it casual with a girl or take it seriously with a girl by how I treat her. If she responds favorably when I'm a gentleman to her, or if she likes to be treated well, that's a woman I will continue to pursue. If she doesn't, I now have to make a decision if I want to keep this casual and let her know I want to keep it casual, or if I'm going to just exit out and stop doing it and get the fuck far away from someone like that. So you don't want to be misleading women. You don't want to be treating them like shit, so to speak, because that's where you can get into the dicey, risky stuff. And if a woman doesn't like talking to you, or she tells you to go away, I don't want to talk to you, then just leave. There's no reason to get upset about it. You walk away. I have not had a situation. I've done thousands of approaches in my life. I have not had a situation where my freedom was threatened or I was kicked out of somewhere because of it. I've definitely had women make up lies about me, but nothing to the point where reputation was damaged and like I had to go to court or something like that. Yes, it does happen. I agree it happens, but it is extremely rare for that to happen. And if you're at work, for example, I would not shit where you eat. So I wouldn't be hitting on women at the workplace. Keep those things separate.
We always, there is a Russian saying, where you live and where you work, never start dating.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a little
Never it work, because if you finish this relationship, what are you going to do with your job? What's more important?
Yeah. I haven't had to worry about that because I do my own business. I don't have an office. I don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so I think it's my favorite comment from the others.
Sure.
So, nope, I'd rather stay single. Who wants to be coached? Like life of a script. So it's life of a script. Many men accept this part of coaching, dating coaching is like something like it's a script and you have to follow it. And I am not going to change. I am pride and single.
Okay, I have the same response, the same one with the first guy. If you want to be single, go ahead. I'm not trying to force you to be single. I'm talking to the guys that want to actually date and have a relationship or meet women. That's fine. If you don't want to, if you'd rather stay single, then go ahead. And here's the thing. If I'm like a sports coach, let's say, and a guy comes up to me and says, I don't want to learn how to like defend myself at basketball. I don't want to learn how to dribble. I just want to play basketball. By all means, go play basketball and get your ass handed to you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Never, ever get better at your field. That's fine. Have fun. How about it?
But I don't believe such comments, because otherwise he wouldn't be, this person who commented, he wouldn't be on the account of Matchmaker watching the video interview with dating coach, listening to this advice and taking this point to say his opinion. It just, I would like to get someone, but I'm so afraid to make the next step and change something. And, so I better say no.
That's a very powerful observation, and I agree with you with that. It's a fear. It's a fear of, oh, I'm going to be fake, and she's not going to like me for me if I want to be myself. And I do understand to a degree of that perspective, but understand something. If yourself is insecure, if yourself is unattractive, do you really want that to be yourself? The beautiful thing about human beings is that we can change who we are by doing work and putting in effort. And so in the beginning, to a degree, there is a lot of fake it till you make it, because you're not right now a confident guy. You don't display attractive behaviors when you go out. So you have to practice that until it becomes natural, just like with basketball or sports or anything else. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You have to have some scripts or whatever. I'm not really a fan of using lines and stuff or canned material, but you have to use structure until it becomes natural for you and you become the actual attractive person that you're portraying.
Yeah. And it's always from inside. I remember I had one client. When he came into my office, I wanted to close my eyes because he was so ugly, really, really ugly. Probably the ugliest person I've ever seen. It's like from the horror films. But then he started talking, and in 2 minutes, I didn't realize anything. I was really like cursed. I thought, okay, maybe it's my reaction. And the women came to date him, and first reaction was like, oh, what is it? But after really a couple of minutes conversation with him, you didn't notice anything because it was so much from inside. I don't know, did he train it, or maybe it was natural, but it was probably the most attractive personality ever, because it was absolutely compensation to his absolutely ugly face.
I like that you're using the example like that. Another really great example, I have a friend who's an ugly guy, but this guy's had some pretty amazing experiences. He's got models coming over his house taking photos because he does professional photography. He doesn't make a living doing it, but he does it as a hobby. And he goes out to nightclubs and he hands his card out and shows his Instagram and that he's an amazing photographer. And he has women coming over and he hooks up all the time with beautiful, gorgeous women who are half his age, simply because he's got something of value. He's really fun to hang out with. He makes the women feel sexy. and they want to hook up with him. They would never hook up with him at a nightclub just seeing him like from face to face, or probably want to go with that dull personality, good looking guy. But he's got the game to follow through with that once he gets into the house and starts taking pictures. So
Yeah,
everybody's got their angle, man.
yes, because taking pictures is something like, not I'm trying to flirt with you. I just want to take a picture of you. And you start conversation, you have something to talk about, and suddenly you realize this man is really interesting.
Well, understand something though. It's not like, oh, it's just about pictures. He flirts with them like crazy as he's getting their number and talking about doing the photography and stuff. But he does get to know them and builds comfort as well. There's a whole idea to it. I don't know if we're going to talk about the structure of game, but you absolutely have to flirt with women when you meet them, because if you don't, you will just be seen as just a friend or an invisible guy. You have to flirt or they won't see you as a sexual option.
Okay, the next comment. Seriously, it's not that difficult, to be visible. Dress casually smart, smell good, be confident, which is a learned skill, and learn to flirt and make women laugh. Is it enough?
No, that's the advice that usually comes from a guy who is what's called a natural. So remember when we discussed this in our last interview we did, some guys are just born natural at this stuff, but it is also a skill. And this guy even admits that it's a skill. Some guys aren't good at it. It is a learned skill, but some guys just aren't good at it. If you were to say this to a man who's got high functioning autism, he's not going to tell you it's easy. And if it was easy, every guy would be getting women like crazy and I wouldn't have a job. So it's just factually not true. It is difficult. That's why a guy who can get lots of women is revered. A guy who can get a lot of women is looked up to, because it is difficult. So this is bullshit. However, if you are a good-looking guy with charisma, or you're in that top 10, top 20%, and you've just naturally been like that through most of your life, it is going to be easy because you've achieved a sufficient skill level. Once you get good at this and you've achieved that top 20% status, it does become a lot easier. But even then, you still got to deal with the bullshit that comes with dating. You're still going to have to deal with some of the drama that comes with it, or women playing mind games with you, or, some sort of like demand that they have, or trying to push for a marriage and you're trying to hold it off. You got all kinds of stuff you'll still have to deal with.
So you want to say, it's not about this first level to get your phone number and to go for the date, but if you want to be in relationship, in happy relationship, it's smelling and dressing, it's really not enough, because it has to be your personality and knowledge how to deal with women. It's not easy. Sorry.
Yeah, when he's saying, oh, and learn how to flirt and make a woman laugh, that's like rocket science for a lot of guys, man. That is not easy. It is not easy to be funny. It's not easy to flirt. If it was easy, I wouldn't have a job. This is fucking ridiculous. But whatever, I digress.
No, I agree with you. I remember when I was when I was teenager, and there was this time of this going to the disco, and me and my friend, we went to this disco for for cadets, so the young soldiers. So they were only men, and I was beautiful, but just this feeling insecure. I was only always the one who is standing on the wall, and my friend was the one
you still are, Ksenia.
Yes, so I spent my youth standing on the wall and looking how my other girlfriends dancing with men, because if you don't appeal something special, and now I go to my events, and at least twice every event I get a question, are you married? It's really not about how you look like, it's more about freedom. Okay, good. So next, one more advice, probably from one of these. Wait a second. In my experience, men need to push back. Don't always say yes to whatever she says, especially if it's something you don't enjoy, and do your stuff.
I have no disagreement with that. I agree.
So it means, the part of one piece of advice about being in relationship, it's just understand what do you want and protect your own borders.
Every time you say no to a woman is an opportunity to build attraction. A lot of women are not said no to, particularly very attractive women. This is why bad boys or assholes do well with women, because they have a backbone and they stand up for themselves and they say no. Men who are bad boys are willing to walk away. They're willing to lose the girl. And that's the only way you can retain respect from a woman who has tons and tons of options, is by showing you are willing to walk away from them. And you do that by saying no when she's crossing a boundary, when she wants to do something you don't want to do.
And my last couple of days ago, I had conversation with my ex-client, because he used to be married with a woman from my agency, and he said, I was ready to do everything for her. I was so happy that she chose me. I couldn't believe my luck.
Oof.
I was ready for everything. I said, you know what? It's wrong. It's wrong. As soon you feel it's too much, you definitely have to say, you know, darling, we are not doing this. Just stop here. And he really did, and always hope that she will appreciate his effort and his doing everything. And you know, they're divorced.
I think in a relationship, it is most important for a man to like his woman and a woman to respect her man. Those have to be absolutely there. Those are the most important things. I mean, yes, you want the woman to like her man as well, but it's far more necessary for a woman to respect her man, because without respect, a woman won't find him sexually attractive.
And the problem is, if men manage to their women to lose respect, it's really very, very difficult to win it back.
That's true. It's true.
It's really second, and that's all. And I think women are really more like, okay, so it doesn't work. Okay, let's go. You know, in certain situation, and respects you. You're right. Absolutely, it's part of sexual attraction. And if it's not, if there is no respect anymore, that's over.
She has to feel like you are the very best option she can keep. Like she has to feel like perceptually that you are the best she can do. She has to feel that way.
Yeah. Okay. All women want the man with money so she can spend it on his own house, a very expensive car. They are users, women. Jesus Christ. What can you say about this man? Because in my world, in my international matchmaking world, where I work with Slavic women, I quite often hear this accuse that women looking for money only. What do you think about men, and what do you know about men who accuse women of wanting money only?
They remind me of those guys remind me of the same women that say men are such pigs, all they want is sex. It's like, yeah, no shit. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just biologically hardwired. All men want sex and all men want a guy with money. Of course. So what? Listen, think about it like this. This is going to sound horrible, but I don't say this in like a vilified way. It's just the way we're wired. So like, all women are gold diggers to a certain degree. A woman doesn't want to come home to a cardboard box. She wants a man she can feel will protect and provide for her. And it's okay. That's why we exist, because our female ancestors didn't want to link up with bums. They didn't. A woman is far more likely to survive and reproduce and continually bear offspring if she's with a man who can provide resources. Because when she gets pregnant, and this isn't prehistoric times, when she gets pregnant, her life is in danger. Her life is at risk. So the ones that valued a man with resources were the ones that were more likely to reproduce and survive. And if your mother wasn't like that, you may not be around here either, because you wouldn't have been able to afford to feed you. That's okay. It's just a fact of life. And a woman to get upset about how a man wants to have sex all the time, you're getting upset at things that you can't control. It's just the way it is. It's not bad and it's not good. It's survival. Evolution doesn't care about morals. It is amoral. It's not immoral or moral. It is amoral. Doesn't care. It cares about survival and replication. That's all it cares about. And so to get upset about women wanting a guy with money is pointless. It's pointless. It's like getting upset that fish breathe water, or breathe water, right? Like, this is how it is. So just understand and accept it. Now, I will say some women are vicious gold diggers for sure, and that's like all they care about. And yes, there are some men that will lie, cheat, and steal to get laid. But just because a man wants to get laid doesn't make him a bad guy. It makes him a man. And just because a woman wants a guy who has money doesn't make her a gold digger. There's degrees to this. So I don't know.
Yes, and what I heard somewhere that men who accuse women of wanting money only, it's inside they feel they cannot give anything but money, and it's something like self protection. They want money only, so that's why they are bad, and so that's why I don't get any of them just because women are bad. It's not my fault.
I don't think women are bad or good. There's certainly bad women, and there's certainly women out there that only want money. That absolutely exists, but the vast majority of women just don't want a guy that can't afford to take them out on a date or can't go, to a fun festival and be able to pay for it. She wants a guy that can afford a lifestyle that's fun for both of them, where she doesn't have to worry about finances.
Today, I had a phone call with one client, and he's really a lucky one because he's very good paid. So he said he can earn about 1,000 euro in an hour. So it means he works 2-3 months a year, and the rest of the year he is free. And he said something to the woman from Moscow, something like, so I'm between two projects and I'm free. And her reaction was, what? You're not what she said, you're not purposeful enough, and people in my country, they work so hard. So it means for her, somebody who has money and doesn't have to work hard was bad just because he doesn't have to work hard. It's really, I said, if she wants to hear this other truth, just tell, yeah, I'm between projects, and it's not as bad. Just don't tell that 9 months of the year you don't do anything but gardening.
Yeah, well, there's always a reason why someone's single, right?
Yeah, yes, because I think, it's suddenly I came to this idea. I think part of being good guy in this bad meaning, it's to be too honest. They cannot, I don't know how to say, mirroring what women want to hear, and they're just too honest. I don't work, or I have problems with my health, and I have problems with something like they go to the party and tell people about their being in depression. You don't have to tell everything, keep
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of guys think that you have to be a complete open book in order to be an honorable person, but
nice.
You don't need to do that. The only way you need to be an honorable person is to not lead someone on and make someone think that you want something that you really don't, or lie straight up about things. So you don't have to say everything. You don't have to say anything. That'd be like a woman coming in on a date in the very beginning and say, so listen, this has to go into a direction where we're going to get married and have children. Are you looking for that? It's whoa, it's off-putting. And a guy might be open to that, but if a woman just straight up comes out like that, it's going to be off-putting. Same with a guy who's going to be saying things and trying to be super, super open about stuff. I always like a woman to peel a guy open like layers of an onion and find out more and more and more about him. You want to remain mysterious.
Okay. Accusation to your job. Your course is just teaching boys to be a further fake. Women want true reflections.
I would like you to step out in the real world and look and see what women are sexually selecting, okay? What they are sexually selecting are the behaviors and the qualities and the traits of what I teach, okay? And any sort of scripts I teach, I don't really teach scripts. I'll say things that I'll say, I guess I'll give one-liners and stuff, quick little things, but that's not primarily what I teach. I only teach that as training wheels. I believe that you should be coming up with your own things with the concepts that I teach, okay? But no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, what world you're living in, right? But they do like the bad boys. Those are the guys that get the most action from women. Those are the ones who are being sexually selective, not these true reflections of honest men who are wonderful gentlemen. It's no, all that chivalry shit is dead. Well, at least over here. I don't know how it is in Europe and the UK.
I think it's part of this society influence what kind of men we should accept. It's something like if you read profiles on the dating platforms, for me it's really like scripts, because all people write the same, and probably some of them use ChatGPT just to make it even more achievable, even if it's absolutely wrong, because it's the same. There is no personality behind. And I think it's they are very important. It's not fake it or make it. It's something understand what is my strength, and I start from the things I'm strong in at, and and then I develop other things, because you cannot work on all layers of your personality at the same time. It's long process, and generally it takes all life, and when we get it to perfection, we have to die. We have to leave this planet, unfortunately. So it means it's really I think it's more about getting fun from the process.
All right. Well, I like to answer this in two ways here. The first one is that it's very similar to the last comment that we read. But look, man, if you're not playing the game is playing you. You have game at some level, it just doesn't work for you. So you need to change that. If changing that means you're being fake, well, look, if it's not working for you, then fake it till you make it. And if that doesn't sound good for you, then go ahead and keep doing what you're doing and keep banging your head against the wall. Be my guest. That's fine. The other way that I really like to see it is that, as I mentioned before, our personalities are malleable. And I would say that if what you're doing isn't working, well, there are aspects of you that are flirtatious, that are confident, that know how to take women from point A to point Z, but you're not showing that. Perhaps what you're doing is an insecure side of yourself, which is not your true you. You want things to be in your idealistic fantasy about how women should work, how they should just like you for you, et cetera, et cetera. Woman is not going to like you for you unless you have certain qualities that will make her interested in who you are. Women are interested in what you are first, and then they'll care about who you are after they're attracted to you. If you can't get them attracted to you, then all of this true reflections is all bullshit. And as a guy, you can't live in delusion. I would say that women are much more allowed to live in delusion because men are primarily attracted to physicality. So if a woman is good looking, she can think that, you know, her astrological sign is lining up with you and everything's going to be good and bad or whatever. Or, oh, he'll like me if I'm just myself. Like, she can do that because the guy's going to like her no matter what, as long as she's good looking. But a guy doesn't have that luxury. He has to be able to take conversations in a flirtatious direction. He has to demonstrate qualities of what she is looking for in a man, because women are much more concerned about your behavior and your personality than a man is. Now, I'm not going to say that men don't care about personality, in case there's women listening to this. They do care about that, but they don't care about it when it comes to sexual attraction. They care about it when it comes to whether or not they see that woman as a potential partner in a long-term relationship or just someone fun. That's where the personality matters for men.
And this is really interesting thing. We strongly believe, so in my world and in my country, we strongly believe, and it's true, that men generally can decide in the first seconds how far can go this journey. So it's for one night, for all life, and so on. Because we women, we have to get used to the guy, we have to understand, appreciate qualities, respect, and so on. So it's sometimes it's quite a long process. But men, very often, they can decide immediately what he is going to do with this girl or how long it will last.
Well, I don't know necessarily immediately in terms of like how long it'll last, but he will determine immediately whether or not he'd sleep with her, for sure. That's determined within the first few seconds, not even the first few seconds, even less than that, like the first millisecond. But over the course of the date, he'll be able to determine. Now, he will be able to determine very quickly if she's showing, you know, maybe promiscuous types of behavior or aggressive, arrogant behavior or things that are just a real turnoff. But see, women are much more overt about their rejections. They'll friend zone a woman. But a guy, he will silently reject her. He'll do it covertly. He won't say anything because, hey, well, at least if I'm paying for a date and, you know, maybe I can at least get a fun hookup out of this and we'll see where it goes, whatever. But he's already made the decision in his mind. It's not going to go somewhere. That's the way that man rejects a woman.
Okay. And now I think the most cruel comment.
Okay.
About invisible. Wrong. Women, I just copied paste. You can find it on TikTok. I didn't write it myself. Promise, swear. Women like to be treated like crap, and they like a guy who doesn't give a crap about them, which are the bad boys. Good guys don't play games. Yes, straightforward.
There's so much I can say about this. All right.
Okay, go for it.
Definitely, there are a lot of women that genuinely are attracted to men that treat them like shit. That definitely is the case. However, I would say the majority of women who get treated like crap by men, and it seems that they like that, you have to understand why they're going for those men. Is it because they get treated like shit by them? Women don't like to be treated like shit, but a woman will tolerate being treated like shit if she's attracted to the guy. All right? So you guys got to get that through your thick fucking skull. It's not because the guys are treating them like shit. Those bad boys are doing things to cause attraction, which allow them to treat them like shit. And understand something. If a guy is treating a woman like shit, what does that clearly mean? That clearly means that he sees himself above her. Women cannot feel sexual arousal for a man they perceive as below them. So naturally, the guy is going to treat her as though he is above her in terms of like socioeconomic hierarchy. So social status wise, she is going to feel like she is with someone who's better than him. And you can do this without the abuse. Treating a woman like shit puts her below you. All right. And I don't mean like below in some horrible, like insulting way. A woman has to look up to her man. If she is pursuing his validation and she's trying to get him to treat her well, and it's gonna take effort to get really good treatment from him, then when he does treat her well, it means so much more. So, but please avoid women that you actually genuinely do have to treat like shit, because they do exist. There are genuinely women out there that will not take you seriously unless you treat them like shit, and that's not a very healthy relationship. You don't want to be in that.
No, it's absolutely not, because in such relationship, if women are accepted, it's really the question if she is mentally healthy. Because if you speak about healthy relationship, strong, normal, boring, strong, normal relationship, it's not about abuse, it's not about games, it's really straightforward. I like you, you like me, so let's build our house and have 10 children. So it's really this adult conversation, and of course sometimes discussion, but it's not something somebody is above and somebody below. It's quite same level.
You can treat a woman however you want as long as you don't bore her. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I say if two people accept what's going on and happy with it, it's legal. Because some people need arguments to be happy. Some people need to spend holidays to be happy. Some people need to. Yeah, it's as soon these two partners, even same gender, if the two partners are happy in their relationship, it's their stuff, and we don't have to judge. And again, it's to my point, who is the judge and who is allowed to decide what's good and what's bad, which personality is good and what's bad. And what I think, and I see it more and more after COVID and all this swiping stuff and smartphones, people really need this conversation. Look at the teenagers. They are not able to ask out. They can write. And on Instagram, I ask you out on Instagram. They go into the same school, same class. How in my age, in my stone age, boys managed to ask us out, and now they have a smartphone sitting in the same rooms. They cannot. It's absolutely cruel thing.
I know it's getting worse. I know we're always going to have business, Ksenia. We'll never run out of business. That's for sure.
No, never. Our business is forever. So
I'd like to make another point about that. The guy who treats a woman like crap will never simp. That's another thing. You could treat a woman well as long as you don't simp. As what simp means is putting her on a pedestal, treating her like she's above you. Like the guy you were talking about, oh, I was so lucky to be with her. That's a woman that's never going to have the respect of a man, or of a woman, excuse me.
No, absolutely not. And the problem is, I bloody told him when first time, first bell rang. I said, you don't have to say yes. Maybe you have to insist that your opinion is right.
Yeah, you think the guy that's treating her like shit does that? Has to have that talk with someone?
And he said, for me, it was easier to do what she wanted instead of arguing with her. I said, okay, so we say in Russian, I wash my hands. I want you. But what you do with my advice, it's not my business, because I am done. What would you recommend? I don't remember if we discussed it last. I think we didn't discuss it. I have a couple of men without any patience. So it means they, for example, they discuss to have Skype date, and the woman is writing, I am in the place where is bad internet connection. Let's postpone it for an hour. So let's have a video call in 1 hour. It doesn't make any sense. So if you, and one other guy, it's really several times he goes to the Skype date. If she doesn't like her, 5 minutes, and he finds a reason to stop it. Something like more and more men who I don't know even how to. It's even not patient.
Overly picky?
Yeah, all men are picky.
Overly picky. And no, I
Overly
disagree with
picky,
that
overly-
sentiment. I think men are not picky enough often. I think if a man is giving a guy or a woman is giving the average guy attention, he so rarely gets attention from women. He'll take whatever he can get. Most of the time when people get in relationships, women are going for what they want and men are going for what they can get, generally speaking. When you're talking about guys who are overly picky, you're probably talking about the top 20% guys that we discussed. Because how can you be picky when you have no options?
But so both of these examples, and I have some similar like this about so even she wasn't moving and she forgot to tell him about postponing the first call because she was really busy with boxes and all this stuff, and the same answer: if you don't respect me, it doesn't make any sense. But she was busy with something like no understanding that on the other side of the line there is life, and it's not everything about him, especially there is no relationship yet. They just writing, and it was first call, first Skype, first video call.
How long was this planned for? How long in advance did they plan this?
Yeah, maybe 1 week. 1 week writing, and then discuss this video call. It's postponing 1 hour, forgot, and because of moving 5. So for me, it's always all the time the same symptoms. And
Okay.
I try to talk to men. I really try to. No, if she has no time for me, it does make any sense.
Yeah, I can understand that. I actually can understand that. And the flakiness can get really annoying, and especially if a guy is looking for something serious. And this is really good. This is really good feedback for women. That if you show any sort of inconsistency or you don't go with what your word is, and you're not showing a degree of honor, you're going to lose the respect of a man who's looking for something serious. That's very important for a guy as a woman who's honorable. I like to say that honor is more of a masculine quality. It's more of a masculine value than for a woman. So I don't think that in general, and I'm saying in general because obviously there's exceptions to this, but in general, I find that men value honor in your word, and you do what you say. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. And I think women value that to a lesser degree. I think women value do what you feel much more. They value what their emotions are telling them. So if they don't feel like doing something, they're going to value what they're feeling rather than with the word that they said. And so I think men have to understand that men and women don't really think alike when it comes to this. So when you're going into a situation with a woman, I would recommend as a guy to see it from that perspective. She says she can't move boxes for an hour or whatever. Sorry, can we do it in an hour? Don't take it that seriously. She doesn't really know you yet. She's not super invested to you. Once she starts feeling like she wants to be that way with you, she'll be loyal to her emotions. She won't be loyal to you just because she said her word. She'll be loyal to you if she feels like being loyal to you. So once she's invested in you, she will do that.
I remember it was because a couple of months ago, the situation with boxes, and I had a webinar for men, and I told this story to men and really expected men to understand that if you're busy with boxes and lorries and all this stuff, and you are in other country, you don't speak this language, you have to organize a lot of things, you might forget about this call, or maybe estimate the time wrong. It can happen. But really interesting that about, like you said, Anna, 60 or 70% of men who commented, there were a lot of comments in the chat, they were on the side of the men. So, okay, we understand.
Yeah, because it's annoying and women do it a lot.
Yeah, maybe disappointment from previous time when they were dumped by women and not.
Or just
Okay,
flakiness, general flakiness when a woman will make a commitment and then cancel it because of something silly. And that happens a lot. And that's what I'm trying to help guys understand. It's like trying to hope that a woman thinks like a man. And in general, they don't. This is oftentimes why women really like a guy who's very stable and honorable and all that other stuff, because they feel a sense of security from that. But women don't have to provide security for people. They're trying to provide security for themselves oftentimes. And that's why she wants to do the boxes.
And so I get recommendation because I'm always in this gap of different cultures. I said, you know what? In my country, in such situation, when a woman wrote that I have boxes, I have 3 men who carrying these boxes, and a lot is the Russian guy will ask, I can drive to you and help.
You can't do that in America. A woman will find
without expecting anything. Something like, I understand you're a woman, and first of all, I respect and I am ready to help you as a woman.
Yeah, a lot of women wouldn't be comfortable having a guy over helping to do that when she hasn't met him yet. Here, at least in the U.S., you're not going to find that. And some women will find that really creepy. Can't do that here, unfortunately. You can't be as simple like that.
But so I think it's really sad. It's this side effect of emancipation that men have not many chances to show their man night quality.
Yeah. I agree. It's really sad. It is.
Because if you help and you got your acknowledgement, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It makes yourself better personality.
Yeah, that's beautiful harmony between men and women. It should be like that. It should be like a man should be able to offer to help move, and she will appreciate it and love him and adore him for that, and they'll have a wonderful dinner together and a relationship develops. It'd be wonderful if it was like that, but this is why I teach a lot of this stuff, is to adapt in a society that's not like that anymore. And for a man to get super pissed off about having a woman postponed for an hour, it's like, listen, man, I understand. Yeah, it is. It's kind of disrespectful. It is. And it's annoying because you've scheduled time in your day to do that. I get that. But when you're dealing with women, they don't value honor the same way that you do. They're only going to be honorable towards you if they feel like being honorable towards you. They're not going to do it just because they said something. They're going to do it because they feel like they should. They feel it. That's what I'm saying. So they're going to be much more honorable to the bad boy, right, who makes them feel stimulated because they want that guy to like them. This chick doesn't know you from a hole in the wall. That's why she's not behaving in an honorable way, because she doesn't know you. She's not investing in you. Her life is more important than the next date with a guy who's one of thousands of guys. She could go online and swipe and stuff, and don't take that personally. Once she gets to know you and you build some attraction and some investment, she will begin to be honorable. Now, I will say, though, if she flakes on you 2 times, there does need to be rules about that. If she flakes on you twice, then you might as well stop trying. Right? But
it's what I said, one time and moving, and with all this reason, I can accept, because sometimes we just really forget the time, and
let her make it up to you too. Give her a chance to make it up to you.
Yeah, and I always say you are nobody for her until you start relationship, because you really, like you said, you're one of hundreds other guys writing on other platforms and about platforms. I read an article. I don't know. Probably you read this article. It was a newsletter of Matchmaking Institute. It was about how men struggle on dating apps. Did you read about it?
No, but I know that men struggle on everything. So why don't you tell me about it? Tell me something I don't know already.
So it was it was really with numbers. American men, they struggle on dating apps, first because there are more men than women on all dating apps, especially
Correct.
like Tinder free apps, and second, just because men are more attracted to beautiful women. Of course, it's naturally. So it means that all these more men fight for less women.
Correct.
So it's even bigger competition, and it means that men, they have to build this trust relationship and all this, I don't know how to describe it, in really very short period of time and through writing. Mm-hmm. And I had one client, he complained about women because he said, they always what's his name, ghost me.
So
Yeah, they always ghost me. I said, "What's happening?" Because today she writes to me and everything was fine, and on the next day there is no answer. I said, "You know what? You cannot imagine what is happening on Tinder on the page of beautiful woman. You get, I don't know, if not hundreds, but tons and tons of messages. And if you had nice conversation today and tomorrow he didn't show up because he's proud and waiting and honorable and waiting for her response, during the night you got already, I don't know, 10-20 messages from men who are more active and proposing and offering and so on. She forgot about you already. But they ghost me. They all ghost me. They forgot
most
about.
of them will. You could be Brad Pitt and they'll still ghost you. That's just how it is dating as a man. Like, I think that men need to take that stuff a lot less seriously. Like, don't take it so personally. Like, don't get your ego wrapped up involved in all this stuff. I don't care how much of a player, how good you are at this stuff. You're gonna get ghosted. You're gonna get flaked. You're gonna have to deal with all that bullshit as a guy. It's just that's the nature of the game. You need to date as a man. You should date more like the women do. Talk to multiple women. If one of them falls off because they ghost or they get back with their asshole boyfriend, that's fine. You got other options. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Women certainly aren't putting you all in one basket when you first meet them. They're probably dating 10 other guys. In my opinion, there's no such thing as a single woman. You're always stealing a woman from somebody else. She might not be in an official committed relationship with that guy, but that guy surely is trying to get with her too. She's always got options. The only way a man can really be successful in dating is to have lots of options the same way women do, and that you could take it or leave it. It's all fun. It's all casual. It's all casual. Doesn't matter. You don't owe any woman anything. I mean, obviously you should be honorable and not be flaky and ghost. I agree. That's fucked up. But like, if she does it, who cares? And if you want to move on, you can move on. It's no big deal. All this stuff is just supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a game. And again, this is also skill-based. You can make better profiles by taking better pictures, being better at sending messages, creating a better profile. If you're worried about getting ghosted, see if you can get them on the phone or talk to them through FaceTime. And then you know that you won't get catfished. Know that when you're talking to women online, if they only have one photo or they show no body shots and they're absolutely overweight for sure, because a woman who's attractive is going to show her body because that's going to get her better matches. But a woman who's unattractive isn't going to show her body because that will get her better matches. Understanding things like this helps develop your skill, so that way you're wasting less time, you're getting ghosted less often, but you will never have a 0% ghost rate. You will always get ghosted, you will always get flakes, you will always have psychopathic women you might meet up with, and that's just part of the fun. That's part of the fun.
Yes, and after it write the book about your dating experiences, like many people, like many journalists do, because if you go in this dating world, you meet people. And if I get the question, who are my clients, I say, generally all people are not the same, but okay, so the percentage of mentally ill people are much less at Matchmaking, and it's really, you have to dig deeper to understand that he or she is wrong, because if it's obvious, we all find the way to say, oh, thank you so much, but we are not the right matchmaking agency for you. So but but generally we work with people, and people are different, and what's good for you, it can be very bad for somebody else, and what is absolutely ill, wrong, mental for you, this person can make other guy, girl absolutely happy, the happiest person in the world. It's a game. I like it. It's a game.
And I'd also like to add, there's a lot of guys that think the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and I respect that. But when you do meet a woman that you just absolutely click with, she's really cool, she respects you, she respects your time. When you meet that woman, you're really going to appreciate her when it happens, because of all the bullshit you had to go through to find her. Who knows? Maybe you wouldn't appreciate her that much if every woman was just, making it easy to meet. I don't know. I mean, it's just a different perspective, but like, you really value somebody who you click with when you've experienced lots of bullshit, because you really had to work for it. And I think it's worth it. Even if it doesn't turn into something serious, if you had a really good time with a woman, or you had great sex out of it, or something like that, even if it's something simple as that, then it's worth it, because now you have a wonderful memory you can look back on. And despite all this dysfunction that's out there in dating life, thank God I've had really great experiences with women. So I know that there are good ones out there that are really fun. And even the ones that are maybe a little bit crazy that really weren't worth a long-term thing. I don't regret having short-term flings with them because they were wonderful experiences, or maybe they taught me something. They enriched my life. They set me up with other people, or business opportunities. There's a lot of value you can get out of dating, despite a lot of the bullshit you have to go through. But that's my perspective on it.
I agree absolutely, because I have a lot of discussion with women about serious relationship, not serious relationship, and serious intent, not serious intent. I always say, can you explain to me, please, where is the border between serious and not serious relationship? Because you do the same, you spend time together, you have sex, you have fun, you enjoy this time. Where is the border where you decide it's serious? And it's it's fun, and now it ends with fun, now it's serious,
When
and
it's Facebook official.
Yeah, but nobody can answer, because really there is no difference.
When it's Facebook official.
Yeah.
When someone declares this is my girlfriend and it's all over the internet, that's when it's serious.
As soon you post it on Facebook,
yeah, you got to catch up with the times, Ksenia.
And in 1 month, you dump him, and delete, and everybody feel a lot of sympathy.
That's not serious anymore, right?
And the old friends, right? I always have known that he's not right person for you.
It's fun. All this dysfunction is fun.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you, because all this my mom always said that, look, all fairy tales, they end on the wedding, because after the wedding it's not fairy tale anymore. it's horror. So that's why. But so many fairy tales, they finish, so they live together and died in one day, something like this. But
that's beautiful. I know a few couples. I know like maybe 3 who've been together for 40 years. Yeah, I know. I've met 3 of them. Yeah.
I know some, but generally there are people who met each other in very early ages, so being very young. So there's something like
a different time.
Yeah, it's a different time without internet, but now it's really difficult. It's difficult, because if you're not very lucky in your relationship, but from all sides you get this advice from these coaches on psychologists without any education, something like, be yourself. You don't have to change. You have to be. Oh, so it was one comment. Just be yourself. It's not. I forgot this one, but now, so we came to this. Just be yourself.
I know. I'm too lazy to learn a skill. I don't want to learn a skill. It's too hard. I want a girlfriend without.
No. It's not. It's really be yourself, because it's exactly what we hear from all sides, from the school now. Be yourself. But if you're asshole, you don't have to be yourself. You have to change something. What I say at my events, I say, you know what? If you go from table to table, and if you have nice conversation on 5 tables and not very nice conversation on 15 tables, it's okay. People are different. But if you go from table to table and you cannot start any conversation on any table, it's something wrong with you, not with girls.
That's true. If you find that it's a pattern, it's something that you're doing, it's true. You need to look at yourself. And that's the best way to go about it anyway, because even if it's not really your fault, if you take responsibility for it, at least you're going to try to change something around and try something different. That's the way you can take responsibility. I'd also like to add that relationship maintenance is also a skill. So, right here, we're talking about dating, we're talking about attraction, mostly like the early parts, like the courtship process. But even being in a relationship still requires skill, and it requires a certain communication styles and being able to communicate in a way where you don't come off as weak, and also where you're communicating wants, needs, and desires, and getting over all traumatic issues of the past and stuff. That's an entirely different skill set. It's an entirely different topic. But like everything, almost everything is a skill, especially relationships.
I had this conversation with somebody yesterday and said, generally, so if you look at this dating process, all these skills we get during our dating process, we have to use in our relationship, because it's really, like you said, it's the same. being often, ask often question, being honest, really nice, honest, not telling about all your illnesses and all your problems immediately, but generally, so just being able to have this adult, normal, grown-up conversation, and not like little children being offended by any little thing. It's exactly what we learn, and I think a very nice side effect of dating is to get this we say thick skin. It's not being immediately hurt if somebody says something, because all people with Tinder experience, I think they have really iron teeth and iron skin, and it's not possible to offend them anymore.
Well, if you're Russian, you're naturally like that.
Yes. I always say all Russians have Kalashnikov in basement, but it's not true. Yes, it's yes. No, it's not a joke, because when I was in school, it was in Soviet Union, we had something like lesson survival about nuclear war and what to do, and part of it was build up Kalashnikov and take it into pieces. I could do it.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Yes, just imagine teenager girls, 15 years old, so it's beautiful, and with Kalashnikov doing stuff. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we did it. Okay, thank you so much for a very nice conversation. I'm really looking forward for the next comments, because I think some people who wrote these comments will comment even our next part. We're getting to the serial, Dan and Co.
I'm sorry. I'm still shocked about you having a Kalashnikov when you're a little teenager. It's like I can't imagine that. That's so cool.
No, it's really a real one, and it was really a lot of lesson just to how to take it apart and put it together. I was very good in it.
I will never piss off a Russian woman again. Okay, all this advice that I'm giving, don't use it on Russian women. Okay, you should probably.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere, like print on the T-shirts, so nobody can fuck me up. I'm dating Russian.
Yeah. This doesn't apply to Russian women, okay, everybody? Yeah.
Okay. No, Russian women, it's very special, because when I ask my clients what the reason, they say it's something special that constantly push you and make you to the better personality.
Sure.
Okay, you don't say anything.
Don't point it at me, that's all. Right.
Okay. Thank you very much for this amazing conversation. I'm really looking forward for next comments. Okay.
Of course.
Bye.
Yes, give it to us. Go ahead. We'll argue with it. I don't mind. You can hurt my feelings. The girls on Tinder have already done that. I'm immune. Go ahead.
Yes, as I was on Tinder as well. I know what is it, and I know how it looks like on the girls' side. It's really hard.
Well, both men and women live in a different kind of hell. So for women, it's like they can't ever find a guy that they actually like who'll want to commit. And for a guy, they can't find a girl, period. Two different kinds of hell.
No, for me it was a little bit different, because I looked at them, I wrote to them, and I met them for coffee, but it was something like I could really help you very good if you become my client, but just because I came as potential bride, I can't say anything. I sit, listen to your stories, understand it's absolutely bullshit, and no one of women would like what you're telling them, but you're not allowed to say.
You didn't disagree with me. You didn't find any guy that you like that's willing to commit. You didn't find a guy that you like. You got lots of options. You don't like any of them. That's what I said. And the ones that you do like don't want commitment. That's pretty much the hell that women live in.
Yeah. And just because for women, especially beautiful women, it's too much choice. It's even more. It's more difficult to choose the right one, and they're most attracted by bad boys.
Third option choice, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for having me again. It was fun talking to you.
Fine. Thank you very much.